Dogs coming on blitz. A nice pickup. Green gets rid of it and caught on the deflection. Put 6 on the board, Knight fans. That is a touchdown.
Haggerty is running hit and run, but it's right to Carter, who flips the second for one over to first in time for a double play to end the inning.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the all-new sports show. I'm Wes Bradshaw.
I'm Edward Green.
Hey, everyone. Folks, we are coming to you from a undisclosed secret location today. This is the Fallout Shelter, folks, the penultimate weekend of the Barclays Premier League. And we could not stay above ground for this, folks.
No.
It's gut-wrenching. It pulls at the heartstrings. It grinds you under its boot into the ground as we are now 37-38, which does not reduce.
No, not all of them are. Two teams are still 36-38.
Of course, folks, we must disclose to you, we are coming to you. This is recorded. Shh. This isn't live. We are coming to you. This is Saturday night. This is how we party Saturday nights at Rocky Mountain.
Yeah.
We're coming to you because, payback's on tonight. There's just nothing else for me to say.
Those of you who listen to the podcast know how much of a wrestling mark this man is.
So I'm marking out, hopefully within the next few hours, the Shield will be reformed.
That'd be great. I might actually
put a fist out with me. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you, Gerard. Gerard the Raven, of course, with us tonight, folks. A fitting name, Ed, as this show today, this all-new sports show, which is brought to you each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates.
Quite.
The show today dedicated to the best there is, the best there was,
Pretty much.
the best there ever will be, the marauding midfielder of Merseyside, Stephen George Gerrard.
Zidane certainly thought so.
Who today played his final game in front of the Anfield crowd on Liverpool. Woo! Excuse me, folks. Luckily for you, I'm almost out of tears.
Yes.
It has been a heart-wrenching day.
It's been a very long pre-show.
And all Liverpool fans everywhere. But, folks, we'll get to that a little later in the show. We are the all-new sports show coming to you here on WHIG-TV. As we mentioned, we're sponsored each and every week by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Folks, there are ways for you to get in touch with the show. We like having an interactive show with our fans.
Not with a phone.
Not with a phone. We don't do phones. No phone tonight, folks. We couldn't get a line far enough under the earth to have a phone for tonight. But Ed, why don't you tell the folks, we do still have a couple of bars of internet access.
Yes.
Just tell the folks at home how they can get in touch with us, Ed.
You can, of course, get in touch with us on our Twitter feed at All New Sports Show is the collective. He's Wes Bradshaw 21. I'm at Edward Green. Of course, you can also go to our Facebook page where we got a bunch of posts coming this week. This past week, of course, we're doing a lot of state playoff stuff of our area teams coming up. We also, of course, always put the podcast on there. But you can check that out, All New Sports Show. That's also the name of our Instagram page. You can also go to us on YouTube, youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. Of course, you can also email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Finally, mail us your letters and parcels. No live animals. All those Steven Gerrard kits are always appreciated.
Kits, scarves, anything in between.
Back on scarf. 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, 27804.
Are we periscoping? Still haven't figured out what Periscope is yet.
One
but
day.
Anyway.
One day.
Okay. All right, folks, let's hop into it. We're going to break this show into a few separate parts tonight. We're going to start off. We're going to give you the recap of the first week of state playoffs for your spring sports here at the NCHSAA. Also the NCISAA, I guess. Yeah. Sure.
I think you hit it.
That's what we're going with. Nobody down here to tell us any different. Other than you, McManus. But anyway, we are going to give you a recap. We're going to tell you up to date what is going on with those. Looks like baseball in Nash County. I think we'll be doing a full recap of this.
It's about done.
It's kind of over. But also, folks, we're going to kind of wrap up some spring stuff for you. Not our full spring wrap up. That's still to come. But we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up a few things for you. A little later in the show, folks, we will be having an extended 60 seconds of soccer. We're going to extend it. And then after you sit through the soccer talk, then we're going to bring you updates on some of your local boys come good in other places.
Yes. So I think we have one that almost had a triple crown.
That's right.
In honor of the Preakness this afternoon, which was yesterday.
Which might be now?
No. Well, I mean, it actually literally might be now.
That's what I'm
For
saying.
us, it might be now.
I can't hear the horses. They could be glue by now. Only if we're lucky. Oh, folks, the fallout of the Barclays Premier League can come at any time, but let's get to the high school sports.
Absolutely.
Folks, this week, your spring sports started their playoff run. Baseball is kind of our sport of the spring that we keep up with. Of course, out of baseball, you had Fike as your conference champion.
Regular season.
You had Northern Nash as your number 2 seed. They were your conference tournament champion.
Yep.
Rocky Mount, who finished second in the regular season.
Yes.
Ended up being your number 3 seed, and Wilson Hunt qualified as the number 4 seed at large.
Barely.
They were the number 31 out of 32 teams seeded in the East in 3A baseball. So where do we stand at? Let's start with round 1, where most of the Big East teams kind of said, we're going to pack away the uniforms.
Rocky Mount lost a tough one in a 21 versus 12 battle at Lee County, 3-0. 3 proved to be a popular score in this round of the state playoffs for a lot of schools. Eastern Guilford beat Northern Nash at Northern, actually by the same score, 3-0. That was a 19 versus 14 matchup. Eastern Wayne loses to Fike 3-2 at Fike. That was a 7 versus 26 matchup. And Hunt got whooped by Cardinal Givens over in Raleigh, 10-4. As we mentioned, that was a 2 versus 31 matchup. So that was our 3A. We also had some 2A and 1A teams in, though. Actually, just had 2A teams in baseball. Southwest Edgecombe, the number 32 team out of 32, went to number 1 Midway and lost 13-1. And number 17 Tarboro lost at Gates County, the number 16 team, 3-2. So a tight seeding matchup, tight game, tight one-run game.
Arsenal tight.
Uruguayan tight.
Oh, tight.
Suarez Keeling tight. Softball.
Rematch is coming.
Softball. 3A, we had number 25 Orange beat number 8 Fike, 1-0. Orange gets the win, coming to us from, I believe, Chapel Hill, the Chapel Hill area.
Hillsborough.
Coming up from there, they came to Fike and won 1-0. That was a pretty big upset. West Craven, the 14 seed, beats Hunt 14-3. And Northern Nash does survive as the 15 seed. They beat John M. Moorhead 6-2. In 2A, South Columbus, the 8 seed, beat Southwest Edgecombe 9-3. Bedingfield, the number 3 seed, and maybe, honestly, one of our best area's chances to win a state title this spring, at least team-wise. Individually, Rocky Mount won a few in track and field, so congratulations to them. But as far as team sports go, this might be their best chance. The number 3 overall seed in the East, Bedingfield beat Pasquotank County 10-0. And then Lewisburg Lewisburg beat Tarboro at home 10-0 in 1A. In girls soccer, we just had 5 teams in, 2 of them playing each other in 3A. Rocky Mount went to Hunt in a 21 versus 12 matchup and got a tight 2-1 victory on the pitch. Smithfield Selma had to go to Fike and got the results you expect, 10-1. Fike beat Smithfield Selma. And then Northern Nash, maybe a bit of a surprise, as the 26th overall seed, went to number 7 Eastern Wayne and got a 3-2 win.
That's a big one going on the road, especially something like girls soccer, where you kind of have the haves and then everybody else.
Yes.
It's not even the have-nots. It's just you've got some really good ones, and there's everybody else. To be able to go as a seed that low, go on the road, get a win. First round, great job by Northern.
Very strong there. And then in 2A, Bedingfield got blanked by the number 1 overall seed, Carborough, 9-0. So that set us up to where we are now. And of course, since we're recording this on Saturday afternoon, as you mentioned, not all the second round games have been played yet from our area. West Carteret at Fike in baseball will actually be in about an hour and a half. Northern Nash at Northern Guilford, I believe, has actually already taken place for softball. Northern Nash lost to Northern Guilford 9-0.
Northern Guilford, the scourge of all teams in this area.
They just keep coming. When will they stop? On the 2A side, Bartlett Yancey, I want to say they've already played Bedingfield. Yes, Bedingfield won 3-0 over Bartlett Yancey. So Bedingfield is now awaiting the winner of North Brunswick, the number 6 seed, and North Pitt, the 22 seed. So most likely you think they'll get North Brunswick, but that will be at Beddingfield, and that's scheduled for the 19th at 7 p.m. So either no matter who wins the other matchup, it will be at Beddingfield. Beddingfield being the number 3 overall seed.
Fantastic.
So there you go for that. That'll be the third round for softball. So Beddingfield marches on. What do we have? Girls soccer. I believe we already had Northern Nash lose to Jacksonville today. Or yesterday. I'm actually going to pull that up. Yeah, Northern Nash lost to number 10 Jacksonville 6-0. Jacksonville, of course, a very strong team. A lot of strong teams over that side. So Jacksonville marches on. We are waiting on Fike, who plays in a couple hours against Northwood. They are the 20th overall seed. Fike looking to advance. And Swansboro will be hosting Rocky Mount. That game is actually ongoing right now, and I'm actually going to see. Of course, you folks at home will already know how that kind of has turned out.
We're interested, though.
And TweetDeck is going to break on me here in a second. So I won't be able to find out right offhand how that match is going. Rest assured, we'll bring you that before the end of today's episode, because I believe that match will probably end before we go off the air.
Well, if it does, we'll have your result.
Yeah, they're probably, they're probably going to halftime almost right now.
If someone tweets it, we'll have your results.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's not all up to us. We do what we can.
And of course, also not in NCHSAA news, in NCSIAA news, Rocky Mountain Academy losing in the state semifinals. Just one win away from that 3-game series over at Granger Stadium in Kinston, and they lose in the bottom of the 7th to Arundel Parrott Academy 5-4 on a walk-off 2-run double. I believe that was 2 outs and 2 strikes.
That was, of course, after they knocked out another local team of ours, Faith Christian, in the second round. So 2 of the better teams by far in the East in your independent baseball scene, coming from right here, literally about a mile away from each other.
Yes.
Rocky Mountain Academy and Faith Christian. And in what has turned into just a fantastic rivalry now over the years, and looks to continue with 2 great coaches in Pat Smith and Greg Clifton running those programs.
So really unfortunate there. But again, we also had earlier this week, Fike went to the Eastern semifinals in boys tennis. Lost to Union Pines 5-4. Actually ended a 17-match unbeaten run for the Fike Golden Demons boys tennis team. So tough break for those guys. But great season. Really, Wes, this could be actually the spring of Fike. In a lot of ways. Baseball wins the regular season, won their Easter tournament, as I mentioned during last week's broadcast, denied the treble by Northern Nash.
As far as we know, they're still alive.
Yep, they still alive for a treble, though.
They still are alive for a treble. They were playing for a quadruple,
yep.
Which I think maybe only Barcelona ever pulled off.
Right now, also update Swansboro 2, Rocky Mount 0. That was about 15 minutes to go. So that, or 15 minutes ago, not 15 minutes to go.
Ago, not to go.
So they have at least about 45 minutes left to turn that score line around.
Like we said, if we get that before we go off the air, we will give it to you. If not, folks, check your Twitter feeds at home.
Yeah.
Use your Google, or maybe pick up a News and Observer tomorrow and see if it's in there somewhere.
You never know. It might be the Telegram.
Rocky Mountain Telegram carries you.
Might be in the Telegram.
You never know with the Telegram. Okay, so there is your update on what everybody is doing, what's going on with everybody. As we mentioned, folks, your 4 Big East teams who made the playoffs, 3 of them are out, including all of your Nash County teams who have made the playoffs this year. So there's no more Nash County baseball until the summer gets going. So, folks, what we do want to do with a little bit of thanks to Foster Lander of the Rocky Mountain Telegram, we're going to give you a little recap of the year that was here in Nash County baseball. Foster Lander doing a great job. His first year, I have not had him on the show yet.
No, he has not made his debut.
Has not made his debut. Maybe coming up.
Got to get him a cap.
Oh, he's got to get a cap. And you want him capped before the big season kicks off.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you want to get the nervousness out of the way.
You don't want to expose him in that sort of major
environment. You don't want to drop somebody. You wouldn't want to drop a player his first match into the World Cup. Oh, you want to let him get a few against Andorra under your belt. Play the Faroe Islands, maybe San Marino. something like that.
Sure.
So we're going to get him a cap. We will cap him here on the All New Sports Show, hopefully soon.
For those of you who don't know, cap means in soccer to get an appearance in a match.
And when you say soccer, we mockingly laugh at you because we call it football.
Yes. I just don't want people to get the wrong impression at home where cap might mean a different thing to some people.
Never mind. Complete that sentence. Not going to finish the sentence I was going to say. We're not talking about a ball cap.
No, like that one either.
No, not like young Gerard here.
Did a pipe just burst in the underground here?
It may have.
Oh, man.
We may be close to death. But we're going to get this show to you before the poisonous gas infiltrates to our underground layer. Yeah. All right, Foster Leonard, big thanks to you. We're stealing your stuff, yo. Northern Nash, we're going to start with them 12-12 overall in the season, 5-5 in the Big East. The highs, they won the Big East Conference Tournament. They lose in the first round of the 3A playoffs. And Ed, for Northern Nash, to me, this is a lost season for Northern Nash.
Absolutely.
Yes, you did bring home some silverware.
Yeah.
This is a lost season for the Knights.
As much senior leadership as you had on that team with a pitcher like Derek Carter, who's pitched now his final game for the Northern Nash Knights, a great career. But really, it was just the offense. It would just sputter out at key times. That was the theme all year with these Knights, they just need a more consistent offense. You know the pitching is going to be there, but you got to scratch off a few runs. And really, except for, an inning and a quarter against Fike in the Big East Championship, it looked like they weren't going to score in that game either against Jace Lamb. They score 7 in the 6th. And beyond that, it was nothing going for them. They didn't have a hit until the 6th inning. This was a team that really struggled mightily to put offense on the board. And I think that's just what doomed them a little bit in the end. And that's going to be tough. This might really be for Northern Nash a bit of a lost generation. They can bring back some nice talent. Are you dying? The gas is come.
It is the gas.
The gas has come. You're still choked up from earlier. But in reality, this is a team I think. We love our football analogies. A little Cote d'Ivoire here, a little bit of a lost generation, I think, for this group. They had a lot of potential coming up these last 3 years with this group of kids. Not saying that they can't come back and be good next year, but there's a lot of key cogs that are graduating this year. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to place them, especially that pitching staff led by Derek Carter. Tyler Barrett, I believe, is just a junior, so he will be coming back. But
he's going to have some pitching coming back. You've got Tyler Barrett coming back. You've got a kid this year who you didn't see a ton of, a kid named Whit Casper.
Great job. He pitched in one of the other games in the Big East tournament and got the win.
But he just didn't throw a lot.
Right.
For Northern, some of the big names, Derek Carter, obviously the big name. He's been a top player for Northern. They lose Chad Haggerty, Nick Vester, Jacob Green. Those were all starters. They're losing next year. And unfortunately for Leonard Allen, Leonard said there might not be much help on the way. So that's a little scary for the Knights.
Okay.
I guess, Ed, we could describe their season as being little night and day.
No.
Okay.
Rough break though for Leonard Allen's men. A lot of promise coming into this season, and they do get the Big East tournament. That's great, but they don't win the regular season. They only finish 500 in the regular season. They get a home playoff game, and they can't capitalize on it to make at least to the second or third round.
And what got them? You give up 3 runs at home, you expect to do something.
Yep.
Hey, you got no scoring. They got no runs.
You got to be able to put runs on the board, and they couldn't.
So look, next team, Rocky Mount High School, who I think were predicted to be up and down this season.
Yeah.
Guess what? They were 10-9 on the season, 6-4 in the Big East. Didn't play quite as many games as Northern, mostly due to the non-conference being almost completely washed out, which is something that Rocky Mount, you saw some struggle this year, especially early on, because Rocky Mount didn't play hardly in the preseason.
Right.
The rain was terrible. The field situation at Rocky Mount, don't even get me started on it. That new field at the school is absolutely atrocious compared to what they had. But that's progress. What can you say? Griffons losing the semis of the Big East tournament, losing the first round of the state playoffs.
We actually had our first game of the year against Southwest Edgecombe. They won that one in convincing fashion. Then we saw them a couple more times. Saw them at home, I believe, to open Big East play against Nash Central. Took a 2-1 loss at home to a Nash Central team that, quite frankly, beyond 1 or 2 players, was just not very good this season. It just seemed like sometimes they would combust. This was a talented team. They had good pitching. They had some really good offense. And it just seemed like they would combust. I did the Northern Nash game when the first leg of the North Rocky Mount Derby this year, and Northern Nash steals home twice in the span of about 5 pitches. And it's like, how as a team, how as a coaching staff, do you let that happen? Because they weren't just stealing home like, oh, we're doing trickeration. No, you have a pitcher who is going from the windup, gives up a steal of home, and stays in the windup still with a man on third base.
two batters later.
I just don't understand. So I think there's just... I feel like it's been this way a couple years at Rocky Mount. There's just something not quite clicking on all cylinders there. There's a lot of talent there, and it doesn't seem like they're able to put it to as good a use as they can. Am I wrong here? Do you get that sense? You are the Capstone School man.
I am the mouthpiece of the Capstone.
You are.
I somewhat agree. Now that said, when you look at what Rocky Mount did, they started 0-2 in the Big East. They finished 6-4. So they went 6-2 down the stretch. This is a Rocky Mount team that had wins over Fike, win over Northern Nash, beat Southern Nash twice. This was a team that I really think if they had played a few more preseason games, they could have been in a decent group, maybe going into conference. It turned out to be a group that could have challenged for a conference championship. Not saying they would have, but I think you do have to give some credit to the Griffons from being 0-2 and finishing 6-4, because they did turn around their season. It started off as a season that it could have just gone to crap. It could have just been a loss. Instead, the Griffons do finish 6-4. They finished 10-9. These are not your 2008 Griffons. These are not the Griffons of the golden days.
Not many teams are.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Not many teams are, but this is a group. They did more good than bad this season. They've still got some good players, and they got some good players coming back. David Harrison, kind of the highlight of those kids, a sophomore who really burst on the scene this year for Rocky Mount. He pitches, he plays outfield. He's a good pitcher, and he can really hit the baseball.
Yes.
He may be the best all-around player at Rocky Mount right now. Forrest Bell will be back next year. Very solid shortstop. The Griffons have players. They're going to lose Blake Helms, who may have been their best player this year. Had a 1-hit, 15 strikeout performance over Southern Nash at one point this year. But overall, this team just missed something.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what it is, and I understand there are ebbs and flows, and some years you've got more talent than other years.
Oh, absolutely.
But, it seems like ever since going over to the new school, baseball at Rocky Mount has just kind of almost taken a back seat a little bit.
Football's found a resurgence. Basketball, of course, except for this season.
Yeah, but even this season, Rocky Mount basketball felt like they were just a couple inches away. See, literally because they were a few inches short.
I see what you did there.
A couple inches away from being potentially another Final 8 team.
Right.
So, baseball, I'm interested to see where Rocky Mount's going to go here. You finished over 500 this year. I'm interested to see next year for Rocky Mount.
Yeah.
Because I do think David Harris and Forrest Bell are 2 kids you can build around. They had some good JV players. They have some good underclass talent. This could be a Rocky Mount team that if things hit right for them, they could come together and be a contender for a conference championship.
Northern Nash is your warning story, though.
That's the thing. It's gotten to click for whatever reason this year. It didn't click for Northern. But I think Rocky Mount, that finishing second is going to give those underclassmen some confidence coming in next year that, man, we can play with anybody. We got no need to be scared of anybody.
Right.
Fike's going to go the farthest anybody in the conference, and we beat them. So, devil sound, what was that? Classic.
Bill, is that you?
Never mind, I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Once again, would have been too inappropriate.
Good.
See, I've learned this year, haven't I, Ed?
Thank you.
If no one else
appreciate it.
If no one else has grown this year, it has been me.
It's true.
If no one else has learned lessons and grown, right?
Quick update. Now 3-0 Swansboro over Rocky at the half. 40 minutes to turn it around for the Griffons in girls soccer. Good luck, ladies. It's already happened, but good luck nonetheless.
Come on, ladies. All right, let's move over to Nash Central now.
Yes.
As you said, Ed, not a great season.
No.
I'm not calling it a good season.
Had some high points, and they also might have a few players to build around. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, here's the plus.
Yes.
Well, okay, let's start with the negative first. Let's get the negative out of the way at Nash Central. 6-14, 4-6 in the Big East. They lose in the semifinals of the Big East tournament. Obviously, they do not go to the playoffs.
Right.
They killed themselves with 5 straight losses in the Big East. 2 of those were by 2-1 runs within a span of 4 days, both to Fike.
Yeah.
That hurt. Can't take them back. So what can you do? Now for the good news. Central played a load of sophomores this year.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. You know, as I said earlier, Ed, as I'm bound to say, you blood in the youngsters. You get them out there. You let them make their mistakes. And see what happens. Rocky Mountain Northern, those 2 programs back in the mid-2000s, that's where the foundation of those teams were built. A lot of those guys played as freshmen and sophomores. They took their lumps, and then in a year or 2, things clicked. Things came together. You had some really good baseball teams. Nash Central's kind of taking that route this year. You know, a couple guys, Zach Patterson, Cameron Taylor.
Patterson, I saw him pitch twice this year. He is a kid that can be a potential ace and could be the ace for, as far as I'm concerned, just about any team in the Big East. Came over from being homeschooled. This is his first year in public school system.
Okay.
Did a great job, and I think that sophomore is somebody that Nash Central can really look to as being their ace next year, and being somebody that you can say, all right, well, every week we're probably going to get 1 win.
Yeah, and you know, that's what they had when Tyler King was there.
Yes.
Their player last year, who I believe was the Rocky Mountain Sun Rams Pitcher of the Year. You know, I mean, you had Tyler King. You guaranteed 1 day a week, either we're going to win or you're going to beat us 2-1.
Right.
You know, or you're going to beat us 1-0 somehow.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out a way to beat us. Patterson and another kid, Cameron Taylor, both showed you, I guess, glimpses. Flashes. That's what we're going to go. They showed you flashes of brilliance, flashes of ability.
I can't wait till they demand $100,000 a week.
It's better than pounds.
Yeah, it's true.
I hate the British. I love them. But you saw it in there, and you're just hoping that Nash Central can come together. Now, for a little bit of the bad side, it's at Nash Central.
You say that like it's a bad thing, though. I think this could actually be the ray of hope for Nash Central, honestly.
I mean, but we've talked about this before. Something's got to change at Nash Central because it has been a pattern, at least the last three years. We're going to just use a 3-year window now. The last 3 years, it has been a pattern of just bad stuff happening. Between the football program, the basketball program, every time basketball was close, it seemed like, they take 2 steps forward, and then they get knocked down those 2 steps and then have another one go back on. Yeah. Baseball has just been kind of its own monster at Nash Central the last few years. We've heard stuff coming out of that program.
Yeah.
That just makes you, as a baseball person, just makes you go, oh, God, seriously. Come on, do better than that. You hope maybe these kids this year who had some success but took their lumps, you're hoping that maybe they can be a help that's going to start to turn the tide there.
Yeah.
Chris Lee's a new football coach at Nash Central. You're kind of hoping maybe, football's kind of the flag sport for all the schools in this area. Hey, that's the way you kick the school year off.
Yeah.
You can either kick it off in good fashion or you can kick it off in ugly fashion. Nash Central, it seemed like, after the disaster of a football season, it's like the other programs could not get out of their own way.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris Lee comes in, hey, football program, maybe you win a couple of games next year. You start to maybe change some attitudes, change some things around there. Maybe that, seeps into your other sports. Maybe that confidence level starts building up a little bit. I mean, not saying they all intermingle with each other, because we're about to talk about Southern Nash, and they had a great football season. And a good basketball season. So,
right.
But, maybe it's just they need a spark at Nash Central High School. Hopefully Chris Lee and the football program will start it. But, hey, this group of sophomores, they could be a spark that maybe gets the fire going over again at Nash Central.
Absolutely.
Which we want to happen. We want all of our Nash County teams to be great. We want all our Wilson County teams to be great. We want our Edgecombe County teams to be great. I want teams to not make the playoffs
And be like
and
20 and 2.
and have a reason to be like, wait a minute, we won 10 games. What do you mean we didn't get in? We should be a wild card. I want to see 4, 5, 6 teams back in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
We saw it in basketball. What? I think basketball. Everybody no.
Actually, basketball. I think everybody can. I think it was 5.
And we had at least 5 in basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 5 teams in basketball got in this year. So, that's what I want to see. I want to see everybody competing. I want to see all these schools at a high level. I want to win overall, but that's fine. I'm a homer.
I know you are.
All right, let's move on to Southern Nash now. 6-14 overall, 2-8 in the Big East. They lose in the first round of the Big East tournament. Let's do the good for Southern. They got a win over Northern Nash this year. Todd Brewer, his first season in Bailey as the head coach. I've always been a big proponent of toss out the first season. That's a coach, getting his feet wet. Unless you're walking in, unless you're handed the keys to a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Which at Southern Nash. Trust me, Todd Brewer was not handed the keys to a Ferrari at Southern Nash.
No, it was not.
So he came in, things happened. Lucas Overman was a good pitcher for him as a senior. They do have a freshman named Leroy Edwards. Hey, freshman pitching. If it does well, you got to love it.
Yeah.
They're going to return their top 4 hitters next year, and Kendall Parker, Ryan and Alex Marlowe, and Blake Boyd all going to be back next year. Should be getting up some kids from the junior varsity that can help them. Going to have to replace some production, especially on the pitching mound.
Right.
Now, here's the problem. They only scored 20 runs in 10 conference games, and they gave up 53.
Bad run differential.
Yeah, it's not a good run differential. They started 0-4 in conference. That obviously put them out of it very quickly. For Southern, it's a new era. Will Flowers was out there for a long time. Did a solid job at Southern. Had some good teams, had some bad teams, had some of those middle teams. So Southern's kind of one of those bags. Football now, we kind of know what we're going to get from Brian Foster's group. But, it took a long time to get that consistency.
Absolutely.
Southern just seems to have consistency problems. Whether it be, basketball has been pretty good the last few years. I've seen some abysmal Southern Nash basketball teams. I've seen some abysmal Southern Nash baseball teams. I've seen some really good Southern Nash baseball teams. So it's kind of what you're going to get year to year. Hopefully this is also a group that some young players are going to come in and contribute next year, get into a habit of learning how to win some baseball games.
Certainly.
And maybe see if they can turn that program around some.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to our private schools. Let's start with the Eagles of Rocky Mount Academy. They lose to Rendell Parrott in the third round, as you told them, Ed. A 2-out, 2-run double walk-off against the Eagles. Leads Pat Smith's group not getting into the state championship series this year. Hey, what's the good? The Eagles, they knock their rivals Faith Christian out of the playoffs.
Huge.
4-1 win, always good for them. Young man named Justin Hicks had a very good season on the mound. Linwood Jones, just proven to be Linwood Jones. He's probably the best leadoff hitter in Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson County. They have a sophomore shortstop named Reed Johnston, who our friend Foster Lander says will be a Division I prospect before his career is over.
Wow.
Those are big words, folks. You've seen the D1 kids that have come out of this area.
You've seen the kids who weren't D1.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you've seen kids who haven't made D1. So that means Johnston, who I did not get a chance to see this year. I don't know if you saw RMA this year.
I did not.
Yeah, he must have the body to go along with the game. Pat Smith, what can you say? I don't care. He's the best coach in the area. He's got that 2008 state title plus state titles down at South Johnston to prove it. Man knows how to coach baseball, knows how to win baseball. He had players this year that had never played.
Yeah.
And he went in the third round.
And I think I mentioned this earlier. That's, I think, as much says everything about Pat Smith and everything about what he's able to get out of those guys, as it is also maybe a bit of an indictment of the NCSIA 2A league. that can happen. But still, that's great for them. And I tell you what, Rocky Mount Academy has built themselves a program.
They have a very good baseball program.
It's basically the antithesis of Nash Central right now.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, it's about belief. You may not have all the talent in the world, but they have a belief. Football's pretty good out there too.
Yeah,
they have a belief that when we touch the field, we're going to win. Yep. And if we're not going to win, we're going to punch you in the face multiple times before you knock us out. And the Eagles, they never give up. They keep coming. They keep coming. They keep fighting. That's a hallmark of Pat Smith. Trust folks, I was close to about every high school game at Rocky Mount that Pat Smith coached. I saw in some capacity or another. The man's great. He's elite. He's a legend. He is fantastic. And the Eagles, I don't care. They have the best 1-2 coaching punch in the area.
I think they do.
Football, baseball. Can you really do better than B.W. Holt and Pat Smith at this point?
Not at this point.
Not in the mid-2000s either. All right, take a quick look at Faith Christian. The good for Faith. They were the conference champions this year. They are going to return Landon Roop, who's a strong candidate this year for the Tugrams All-Area Pitcher of the Year. They're going to bring back Luke Mills, Braxton Varnell, Ben Lewis, Eli S., and Landon Silveri, along with other players.
They only have one senior.
They lose one senior, and Matt Sandiford. This is your group that is very scary, dangerous next year. Greg Clifton has done a great job at Faith Christian. Not even talking about how amazingly beautiful their field is, which got its own newspaper article this year. They've done a great job. One of their problems, last month of the season, they really struggled at the plate, and that's what got them in the end. Defense was up and down on the season. Those are things you've got to work out. That's why you have an off season.
Absolutely.
That's what you work on in the offseason. Defense, to me, you can fix defense. It's just somebody has to be willing to do it. Hitting, I'm of the belief there are hitters and there are not hitters.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot you can teach.
I believe you can work to improve yourself as a hitter. I do kind of feel that basically if a kid can't hit, a kid can't hit.
Right.
But that didn't really seem to be the problem because they were hitting earlier in the season. Maybe
everybody got cold at the same time.
Exactly. You just work the approach a little bit, change a few things here and there. You can work on that. Faith Christian could be coming up on a really good season next year. This is a Faith Christian program, Ed, that now has been around. 2015 has been around for about 20 years at this point. Faith Christian opened back in the mid-1990s. Okay, immediately they had very, very good athletics, including a pair of state championship winning baseball teams back in the 90s. This is a program that has been to the mountaintop. That was when they were in the 1A. Now they're up in the 2A. They have up their competition level over the last few years. But this is a program that is not, they are not new to success on a baseball diamond. So it's a good program. They have been for a long time. They seem to be making their way back near the top of the heap. And it's definitely one to look forward to next year. We've got to get out see our man Faith next year.
It's going to be a fun one.
We'll
make it on the schedule.
I just want to get to a game.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm sorry. Stop coaching the league.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
I'm so good at it. In my mind.
Were you this year?
My year's only half over because I've gotten rained out on those all the time.
That's true.
There's still a chance for me to win. It's all about me. All right, folks. That's been your area recap. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, it's time. It's time. It's soccer time. We'll be right back with more of the all-new sports show brought to you by Roger G. Taylor & Associates on WHIG TV.
The new place is perfect, or at least it will be, with a little help from Dex. In the book or at DexKnows.com. Dex can help you get results fast and deliver the best local advice so you can get it done right. Right here, right now.
We should do this more often.
Dex, results for the here and now.
The WHIG TV karaoke show is moving to an all-new night, Tuesdays at 9:30. Catch all your favorite singers from Zaxby's every Tuesday at 9:30 and Saturday at 9:30, only on WHIG TV.
And we welcome everyone back to the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Town and Associates on WHIG TV. Folks, it's time. It's time. It's time for 60 Seconds of Soccer.
The team who came back from the dead.
Yeah.
The explosion you just saw on your screen, folks, were the heads of Liverpool fans as Steven Gerrard, greatest midfielder in Premier League history, walked off the field for the final time today at Anfield. And no time on the clock this week. We're just going to wing it, folks.
We're truly in stoppage time.
We are. This is the stoppage time portion of the show, folks. And we are just going to start from the top. And let's give a quick rundown of the Barclays Premier League. Let's give a quick rundown of what has happened today before we get into sentimental crying time.
Tottenham won, a goal by the Dolphin, Nacer Chadley, and Danny Pinkhair Rose. Tried to dye his hair red. Didn't exactly work out very well. Southampton, the Saints got off the schneid. Beat down Aston Villa 6-1. We had the fastest hat trick ever in the Premier League. Mamadou Sane.
Sure.
He had it. There was a couple other big wins. Wolfsburg also beat Dortmund. Sunderland drew with Leicester.
Yes, Wolfsburg Dortmund, so Premier League.
Yeah. Sunderland drew with Leicester 0-0, which means Leicester will officially be staying up. This is a team, if you haven't been following the Premier League, was basically in last place at Christmas, was in last place still kind of around February, and has somehow hit a fantastic run of form here and is now officially going to stay up. If you want to pull for someone, it's not a bad idea. Nigel Pearson likes to call people ostriches.
Have won 9 of 10. Their only loss coming to the freaking league champions in Chelsea.
Yeah, and they gave him a match.
Yeah, gave him a great match. They're officially called Leicester City. Don't let the British fool you into calling it Leicester. They'll try to do it. They think they're funny. That's how they joke with us, apparently. But the Foxes.
The Foxes of Arlo White.
Foxes of Arlo White have made, as I heard today, perhaps the greatest escape of them all.
I mean, as you've probably heard on the All New Sports of the podcast that we've been doing this entire Premier League season, I don't think at any point we thought Leicester would stay up.
Well, God, no, they couldn't score. They couldn't stop anyone from scoring. They were pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then suddenly something clicked. They got good. Liverpool got the crap.
They literally got good.
Liverpool losing today 3-1.
Yeah.
In the as I've mentioned once or twice now, Steven George Gerrard. Oh, those the
Wales, the Wales, the gnashing of teeth.
Oh, okay.
From Anfield.
I didn't know if they were the.
Oh God! I just gave our position away. We're below Anfield. Sorry, guys.
Amazing.
We're below the Cop.
We're the Cop. They're still cheering for us outside. Steven Gerrard, his final day at Anfield, 748 career appearances now, I believe, for Liverpool. Over 400 in front of his adoring home fans at Anfield. Folks, you folks at home, Anfield is basically the Fenway Park of English football.
In more ways than one.
It has been there. The Cop was so named in 1906. So the Cop is kind of like as iconic as the Green Monster.
Yes.
So they actually correlate pretty well.
And there's Dunkin' Donuts advertisements.
That's right. Apparently, it'd be cool the same guys owned them.
Wait a minute.
You sneaky Americans. I love you, John Henry. Yep. But today it was not to be a fairy tale ending for Stevie G as Crystal Palace. I love fantastic uniforms, by the way.
Yes, the yellow.
Oh, they look just like like what UCLA would look like coming out if they were playing soccer.
You're exactly right.
Oh, just beautiful. Much better than their home strip. Crystal Palace comes in. Alan Pardue, who in 2006 Stevie G broke his heart in the FA Cup final. They get a 3-1 win, but that was kind of the side story. For one day, we choose not to blame Raheem Sterling for all the ills of the world, or fly planes over to fire Brendan Rodgers.
I heard one that said I saw one that said support Brendan Rodgers today.
That's right. That's the real Red fans.
Yeah.
Today was about Steven Gerrard, a very emotional.
Yeah.
He came out to the Guard of Honor with both teams lining his walkout as he came out with his three daughters. Beautiful mom. His missus is quite fetching, eh? We love it.
All right, then.
Quite a fetching missus.
Wow. Easy Eliza Doolittle.
Yikes. But then after the game, after the match, he was the first one. That everyone kind of stood back. He was the first one to exit off the field.
Yeah.
Then about 10 minutes later, all the players came back out, which is actually a normal end of season thing for a lot of clubs. Last home game, they go out to thank the fans for all their support on the season. All the players came out in Gerrard jerseys.
Yes.
And actually, Ed, if you notice, that was the new kit for next season for Liverpool.
I didn't notice that.
That was the new home kit. That's the New Balance kit.
Yours looks surprisingly similar. Ours don't.
They do that. Well, if you get too far away, you will literally have a revolt on Anfield Road.
Sash. Yes.
Yes. But they all came out in the new kit for next year, all wearing Gerrard jerseys. Stevie took kind of a lap of honor, went around to the cop. His old mate, his old running buddy, Jamie Carragher, interviewed him for Sky Sports. It was touched me deeply. And of course, Ed, as we all love to relive at Liverpool, we love our history because our history is better than everybody else's history.
I'm sure Olympiacos fans also like reliving this moment.
They love it, folks.
They remember when they had a good team.
But we're just going to give you the greatest call of Stevie G's career. This was around Christmas 2004, the final game in the group stage of the Champions League. Liverpool had to win by 2 goals to go through the Champions League. They would do it. They would later go on to perform the miracle in Istanbul, where they came from 3-0 down at the half.
Something about a night there.
Against what truly was probably the best team in the world at the time, AC Milan. My, how the mighty have fallen. But this was the goal, and this is the legendary call that took Liverpool through.
Lovely cushion header.
It's only missing a Martin Tyler. Get in.
Andy Gray, a notorious Liverpool-hating Scotsman, with the call. But even he could not deny that Stevie G had one of the iconic goals of all time. One of the great moments of Stevie G's career, of course, the next year, break the hearts of Alan Pardew, the 2006 FA Cup final with the late equalizer and the late winner in extra time. Over the years, Stevie G was one of those guys. He was truly a world-class football player. Could have gotten into any starting 11 in the world. Had the chance to leave to go to some fantastic Chelsea teams. Jose Mourinho, who I think we all kind of see as the best manager in the world, twice tried to take Stevie Gerrard off of Liverpool with him. Once to Chelsea, once to Real Madrid. Of course, Madrid, the biggest club in the world. Manchester fans enjoy that one. And every time Stevie G said, nope, I'm staying home. He's a Liverpool kid, grew up in Liverpool, came through the system at Liverpool. Will now be off to that soccer hotbed of Los Angeles, California, as he
Galaxy.
will be playing for LA Galaxy.
Truly a Galactico now.
Truly Galactico now. Yep.
If you're wondering at home why was he on this, just think that I think the most obvious comp for a lot of people here watching our show would be Cal Ripken. Right down to literally having the same number.
About the same haircut. Stevie still got his hair, but an early Ripken haircut. Yeah. Very conservative.
Basically, the only knock you could say against Steven Gerrard, he did not win the league. Literally won about every other thing he could.
Literally won everything else. They won Europe. They won the FA. They won the
Euro.
Yeah, won Europa.
Yeah.
Won Europa in the treble season.
Community Shield. Not Community Shield.
The Carling
Capital One.
Carling Coca-Cola
Yeah.
Company Cup.
The League Cup, as
the
we call
League
it.
Cup. That's
Yes.
it. That's the easy one. Also won 2 UEFA Super Cups.
Yes.
They won the Super Cup twice. So it's the guy who won everything except the Premier League. The Premier League is while Europe is the holy grail, the Premier League is kind of the measuring stick for everyone. Never won it. Obviously, if he had left and gone to Chelsea, he would have won probably 2, 3, 4 of them. But you know what? Loyalty goes a long way. Some places remain loyal his entire career, 17 seasons on Merseyside. At times, was the man who kept the sinking ship from going all the way down. So he was voted the last time they did the 100 players who shook the cop. He was the number one. The great Kenny Dalglish number 2. So it's not a stretch to say the greatest Liverpool player ever, and that says a lot for a club that in England has won more European Cups than anyone. They've won it 5 times. They've won it 5 times.
No.
In Istanbul, they won it 5 times.
Really? They won it? No, a great career. There's literally nothing else you can say. Maybe the best midfielder of the last 20 years in the world. One of the.
I'd say one of maybe the best Premier League midfielder ever of the Premier League era, which is 92 on. It's hard to compare guys now to the old days. You know, you're not getting the Pelés and the Maradonas anymore because I do hate to say because Maradona's run against England in that World Cup was amazing. That never happens now because England had a bunch of leaden-footed, slow as crap defenders. Where now he would be pressed to the wall. He'd still be amazing. Don't get me wrong. He'd be messy at this point. Yeah. But you know, it's not the same. But you know, if you want to say Premier League era, he's right up there with the Giggs, the Scholes, you know, the Fat Franks.
So you're just going to join him? Going to join him over here in MLS?
That's right. Now he comes to at MLS.
Yes.
He will play for LA Galaxy.
Still has one more match.
That's right.
Still has to go to the Britannia.
Yeah, still going to play Stoke next week where he can hang out with his old buddy Crouchy. But as far as he goes, Stevie G made his last appearance at Anfield. Yeah. As Ed said, it was kind of like the last time Cal Ripken played at Camden Yards.
Yeah. So, it was some very touching moments all over the grounds.
I've only cried 3 times today. Even Ed cried once.
I cried once.
Ed's a neutral.
Yeah, Ed's a neutral.
Ed's a neutral. I cried today.
I clapped. It was amazing.
So folks, stay tuned after the show where we will have our...
we hope.
Hopefully.
Maybe there'll be something.
Maybe we're going to try to have you a nice Stevie G...
Don't want to promise anything.
Nice Stevie G tribute video.
See how much I feel like it.
Personally made by me.
We'll see how much this neutral feels like it. All right, Wes, we got about 7 minutes left on the show.
Hold on real quick.
Sorry.
Champions League final set.
Yeah. Barcelona versus Juventus.
Yeah, it's just that other little tournament, the Champions League final.
It's not important.
Barcelona Juventus. What is the overriding storyline? Will Suarez go for seconds?
Yes.
Will Suarez be there for dessert? And he runs into Giorgio Chiellini.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and watch World Cup videos or just YouTube Suarez Chiellini.
Or just put Suarez bites guy. That's all you really need to put.
It's not the first one though, probably.
There probably
it might be the second one. It might be the third one.
I actually believe it's the third
one.
Anyway.
It's one of them.
This is going to be like if they did a Die Hard thing. It'll be Champions League final. Suarez comes for seconds.
Yeah. His favorite appetizer.
He loves Italian.
And I spot a Chiellini.
Oh. Must be the pizza sauce. Oh, mamma mia.
All right. You want to do a Brian Goodwin update?
Absolutely, I want to do a Brian Goodwin.
Brian Goodwin, since last we talked, has joined Harrisburg, the AA, after basically being hurt for most of last season up in Syracuse in AAA. Starting this season, now healthy, finally, over at Harrisburg. He's played 19 games so far. He's hitting .254 with 5 doubles, a triple, and a home run.
Which he's gotten both of those the last 2 days. So.
He's rounding into form. He has 5 walks to 13 strikeouts. And has stolen 2 bases, just been caught once. So.
That's right. And Brian, coming off a pretty serious injury last summer, had to have surgery. That's why probably not starting back up in the AAA level this year. He is now AA Harrisburg. Hopefully, we'll see Brian progress quickly. I believe, we got our Wesleyan coming next.
Yeah, Bishop Corner. The men went to the NCAA third round in their team tournament. So congratulations to them, but they do fall to number 4 team in the country, Emory. That was at Washington and Lee. It was actually where that regional was being taken place. But the doubles team of Kilberg and Sick has advanced, and if the rest of this article will load, I will tell you all about it.
Your boy Kilberg.
Yep. So yeah, they're going on. So their team is done. The division doubles championship will actually be this 18, That's the 21st.
Someday.
17 is Sunday, 18, 19, Thursday. This Thursday, we're prepared. This Thursday will be the singles and double championships for Division III. Kielberg will actually be in both of those. He'll be in the singles match by himself, and then he'll be taking Sebastian Sick with him into the doubles championship. So they'll both be going to try and bring home a Wesleyan title. Women lost in the first round, I believe, of women's tennis. So Wesleyan is just about done except for these singles and doubles championships for men's tennis. Again, coming this Thursday for the NCAA Division III.
Well, you remember earlier when we made the comment that, to be a Division I player, baseball player, takes a lot. It really means something because of the players in this area who weren't Division I baseball players who were excellent. Folks, the main one we're going to talk about real quick, Collins Cuthrell. Many of you may remember yes. Collins Cuthrell from his days starring at third base. Played some shortstop for the Rocky Mount Griffons, was also starting quarterback on some of the best Rocky Mount football teams in quite a long time. Collins had gone to Barton College to play baseball. Ended up sitting out a season due to injury, played 3 years, became one of those, you've heard about them, like the graduate transfers.
Yes.
Who graduates, transfers to a different school to pursue his major, still has a year left to play. So Collins said, hey, I'm going to do that. That sounds cool. Sounds fun. Let's go somewhere different. Collins goes to UNC Pembroke. And proceeds to maybe become the best hitter in Division II baseball. He literally misses the Peach Belt Triple Crown by 2 points on his batting average. I want to say he ended at 443. The guy who nipped into it was at 445. Collins did pretty well in the home run department. 25 home runs, and I want to say 75 RBIs.
Good season.
Either way, he kind of ran away with those two, the home run, the RBI. He is was named to one of the final 60 of the Golden Spikes.
Correct.
Which is for the top amateur baseball player in the country. Has been
all
won by, all levels, all college,
yes.
amateur. Yeah.
D1, D2, D3.
And junior college, because Bryce Harper won it.
That's true.
And there you go, folks. Some of the guys who won the Golden Spikes in the past include Roger Clemens, Bryce Harper, Will Clark. A lot of really, really, really great famous guys won the Golden Spikes.
Really?
Also, Collins a finalist, it sounds like, with the Tino Martinez Award given to the top Division II player every year. He was named the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Year. And of course, as you learned last year during our ride with baseball Brit Thomas Berry and the Lander Bearcats, the Peach Belt Conference is known as the SEC of Division II college baseball. So basically, he won. Darn gas.
It's really, really good what he did.
He walked into the SEC and just about won the Heisman Trophy in 1 year.
He's basically Todd Gurley.
After coming from the Big East. Yeah. After playing at Syracuse. There you go.
So,
all right, folks.
Real quick update.
Anything to add? Go right ahead.
Swansboro 7, Rocky Mountain 0, 23:41 left.
We're just going to stop it right there.
We're just going to take it back.
All right. Ed, anything to add before this gas overtakes us tonight?
No.
Okay.
That's already affected my mind.
Glad you're breathing well. My breathing's going, folks. Ed's mind has been lost. Stick around for our Stevie G tribute.
I hope, maybe. We'll see how lazy I am. Might be a lot.
You'll know in a minute, folks. You'll know in just a minute. He's Ed Green. I'm Wes Bradshaw. Ed, real quick, put us over one more time.
Twitter, at All New Sports Show. You.
At Wes Bradshaw 21.
At Edward Green. Facebook, All New Sports Show. YouTube, The All New Sports Show. Email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Mail us 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Check out the podcast on podbean.com, ngscsports.com, and iTunes Music Store.
We pod. It's much better than this has been tonight, I believe.
Yep.
Sometimes. Except the glitch episode, which was bad. Not our fault, though.
I'm not going to talk about it.
Get you, technology. All right, folks, for Ed Green, I'm Wes Bradshaw. Producer Dez was the only one who made it underground with us tonight. One named producer Lee said, I'm not going underground. So he stayed above ground
to play this.
Zombies. He is bringing this to you. We may or may not be back next week, just depending on if we can dig ourselves out. But we'll find something to put on this time slot next week.
Absolutely.
And it will have our name on it. He's Ed Green. I'm Wes Bradshaw, folks. Good night from the underground bunker. This has been the All New Sports Show, brought to you by Roger G. Taylor and Associates. Good night, Gerard. Good night, America. You'll never